What is up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then it's just welcome to my channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button because you will not be disappointed. Y'all have this little awkward grin on my face because that's the excitement that I have to present to you something new on this channel. Like, I'm so excited about it, and the thumbnail and title I'm sure is already giving it away, but I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what we're doing today. So we have all heard her name a million times, and if you were bold and not a chicken like myself, you have stood in the mirror in the dark and said her name 3 times. As the legend goes, you do so and she will appear. Sometimes she appears holding a dead baby, and sometimes she appears with her arms empty and outstretched as she threatens to come for yours. But not many of us know the strange, sad, and very real story at the root of this urban legend. And today, we're gonna talk about it. My mother is in the mood for a fall look, like a sunset type of vibe. Granted, like 30 minutes from now, that's probably not even what I'm gonna look like. But right now, in this present moment, that's what I want to give. So I'm gonna use this palette, this Tammy Makeup Revolution Twilight, Tropical Twilight palette, because it's like my go-to for my fall looks lately. So Queen Mary was born on February 18th of 1516. Barely made it, but she is an Aquarius and it does count. Mary is unfortunately the unwanted only child of Henry VIII and his first wife, Catherine. And the reason she is unwanted is because Henry wants an heir to his throne, a male heir. He does not want an heiress, okay? He is not T.I. Now, granted, she was unwanted and a slight disappointment to both her parents. This does not mean that they did not love her. They definitely do love their daughter. They just wish sis was a boy. The fact that she is female meant that she was a disappointment not only to her family, but she is very openly and constantly regarded as a disappointment by all of England. Now, it is allegedly her being born a female instead of a male is what sparks Henry VIII's very historic series of marriages. 6 wives this man had. He was determined for somebody to birth him a boy. I guess he didn't realize that, men determine the sex, and wherever you go, child, you was just going to keep on popping out the girls if that's all you had in you, which is what he actually does for a while. Now, he also has mistresses on the side. He was very determined, child, to get a boy from somewhere. It could be illegitimate at this point. He just does not care. He was very well known for his quest to birth a male heir, and in this quest had 2 of his wives beheaded. He was really something else, but this story is not about him. This is about his daughter, Mary. Mary was an exceptionally intelligent child, and she grew up in the public eye as a very spoiled princess. That is until about the age of 14, when her father decides to leave her mother and his wife for one of his other wives, or one of his mistresses, to make her a wife. This man was reportedly so infatuated by his new woman that he leaves the Catholic Church altogether. Now, despite the fact that Mary was conceived within his marriage to Catherine, that he remains in until Mary is 14, his divorce to Catherine deems Mary illegitimate. And so she is stripped of her title as princess and given the title of Lady Mary. Not only is she stripped of her title, she is separated from her birth mother, told that she is never to visit her or speak with her again. Even when Catherine becomes very ill, she is not given the opportunity to go see her mother or check on her or any of the things, girl. They said no mas. Now, at first, Mary did not want to accept her parents' divorce and all of these new nuances that came along with it, but eventually she grows to accept the fact that Papa is a Rolling Stone. After so many wives, she just decided, you know what? It is what it is. Depending on which wife was currently on the throne, Mary was treated differently. With some wives, she is regarded as a bastard child and she is banned from the court. And with others, she is reinstated as a princess in order to come make appearances at the court as such. Now, one thing about Mary, as if life wasn't already stressing her out, as soon as she had hit puberty, she had begun having these crippling menstrual pains, irregular cycles, and bouts of depression as a result of. Things only get worse for her once her father finally does produce that heir that he was looking for. Once Edward was born, she is permanently pushed down in rank simply because of her gender. Now, when King Henry VIII dies, his son, of course, becomes the heir to his throne. But unfortunately, Edward dies just 6 years after his father. He was reportedly very ill, and before he died, he had attempted to leave the crown to a cousin of his to avoid it being passed on to Mary or one of his sisters. And this was not his doing. This was actually the request of his father before he died, child. He whispered in Edward's ear and was like, whatever you do, find a cousin, an uncle, anybody within the royal family that is a male and let them carry on the crown, but do not give it to one of these girls. Like, I just cannot have my legacy go out like this. Now, Miss Mary was pissed because she felt like the crown was rightfully hers, and she was determined not to go down without a fight. And against all odds, she becomes England's first queen to rule as a queen on her own right, not because she was simply married to a king or the mother of a child king who was too young to rule. Finally, all of the things that were rightfully hers were hers, and she was settling into her new throne and getting real comfortable. She had a lot of popularity, and she was ready to be the queen of the people. But being as though Miss Mamas is already 37 years old, she knows that she has to prioritize producing an heir to the throne over almost everything. Now, is 37 too old to be trying to have a baby? No. But y'all know the history of the biological clock. And so she was determined to produce a baby quickly before it was too late. Mary finds herself a husband 10 years younger than her, hoping that, this will help her produce a little nice, healthy young baby. Her new husband's name is Philip, and she marries this man just 2 days after the two meet. Sis was not trying to waste no time, but eventually she does fall in love with him. Unfortunately for her, though, Philip never grows to love her the same way that she had grown to love him. Girl, you know how these men do. Nevertheless, Mary is like, you don't have to love me. Just give me a baby. And just 2 months after the two wed, she gets her wish and finds that she is in fact pregnant and was going to finally produce her very own heir. Now, it goes without saying that OBGYNs back in this time were not what they are today. Furthermore, back in this era, doctors were not allowed to look up the skirt of a monarch. It just was not proper. And so they pretty much just had to wait things out. And she is going through all of the things that you go through when you are pregnant. Her menstruation stops completely. Her breasts are very swollen, very tender. She is experiencing a lot of morning sickness, just all of the things. Mary is really going through. This baby is doing a lot to Mary, but she is excited still, and so she does not complain at all. Even regarding the weight, she had always been a really thin woman, but with this pregnancy, the pounds were packing on. Her pregnancy had all of the stereotypical signs of pregnancy, and they continue on as the months progress. Her belly grows rounder and rounder as the months go by, and before long she could feel her little baby kicking inside and moving around, and she was just so excited to become a mother. But she is not the only one who is anticipating the birth of her child. The public was very invested in this pregnancy. The subject of her pregnancy alone was a very hot topic, and although things are progressing as they typically would with any pregnancy, there are still skeptics out here who did not believe that she was actually pregnant. And so the rumor mill begins to spin. Mary had just been hanging out in her royal quarters, enjoying her pregnancy and anticipating her baby. But when word gets back to her that there are people skeptical of the fact that she is actually pregnant at all, she decides, you know what, it's time for me to pop out on them, make a public appearance and show them that I am in fact very much pregnant, very pregnant. Yet the rumors continue to grow. Like, they continue to circulate, and some of them are pretty dark. A lot of people are speculating that she was not really pregnant, that she had just stuffed her dress to appear pregnant, and what she was actually doing was waiting on the birth of another woman's baby so she could take that woman's baby and pass it off as her own. Months into her pregnancy, England becomes divided between the Catholics and the Protestants. But Mary is determined to reunite the country under the one true religion of Catholicism by any means necessary. When I say any means, child, she got real crazy with it. Now, shortly before Christmas in 1554, Mary signs an act which would incite a legendary series of executions known as the Marian persecutions. And beginning in February of that following year, an estimated 240 men and then an additional 60 women were condemned as Protestants and burned at the stake under the orders of Mary. These 300 people were mostly blind, poor, disabled even, and one woman was pregnant. Her baby was born as she was burning, and the baby is tossed back into the flames by the executioner. This horrible call by Mary further solidifies her nickname as Bloody Mary, which had originally been given to her behind her back by people who were familiar with her menstrual issues. Granted, she does have a team of advisors who also supported this decision. The blood was mostly on her hands because she made the call. However, she does not see it as the horrible act that it was. Instead, she believes that it is her duty from God to bring a prince, a Catholic prince, into a Catholic realm, and that if she failed in that duty, she would surely face the wrath and displeasure of the Almighty. Mary was hopeful that this act would scare the rest of the Protestants back into their old religion, but Mary is very wrong, because instead of fear, they felt anger and rage, and they were pissed off because this was just a horrible thing to do. However, she is just unbothered. Even with the fact that it didn't work and was pretty much done in vain, she just decides, you know what, I'm going to focus on my pregnancy. This is my top priority. And so 6 weeks prior to her estimated due date, which was May 9th, Mary goes into confinement. She enters this private chamber where hardly anybody could reach her, and it is equipped with all of the birthing equipment that she would need and a couple of clothes and booties for her newborn baby. Because you know y'all mothers love to have a little outfit ready, girl, with the boots and the hat and all of the things, girl. It could just be 106 degrees outside and your baby got on the little hat that matches the mids, girl, and it matches the little booties on their feet. They got on a pair of Jabot jeans and a little sweater with a little bow tie, just everything, day one. And it's no shade. May 9th comes and goes, and no baby appears. Now, when a couple more days come and go, Mary is like, okay, we must have miscalculated the due date here. Like, maybe that's what it is. Has to be. And so they anticipate the baby arriving closer to June. But by the end of May, Mary's belly appears to be shrinking. Now at this point, the doctors are permitted to look up that skirt and see what's going on. However, they're so afraid to deliver Mary any bad news that they just tell her that this is sometimes a sign of approaching labor. Sometimes the stomach will shrink in size as the baby prepares to evacuate. Meanwhile, the rumor mill goes crazy. People are claiming that Mary has died during childbirth, and that's why May 9th has come and gone and we have not seen her still. There were rumors that she had given birth to just a lump of flesh. There were all kind of disturbing things that were being speculated in regard to Mary's pregnancy. The weeks continue to pass and still no baby. And as that time progresses, Mary grows increasingly depressed. She would lay in her bed for days without speaking, without moving, just laying and looking and periodically going to the restroom. That's it. And as the days go by, her stomach is getting smaller and smaller in size. So small, in fact, she was able to sit on the floor with her knees up to her chest, and she would sit like that for hours at a time, still unwilling to acknowledge and accept the fact that there is no baby to be had. June and July pass, and doctors continue to extend her estimated due date, despite knowing that there would be no child. At this point, them, as well as everyone around her, is just playing along to appease the queen. In August, nearly an entire year after Mary had announced her pregnancy, she finally dismisses her nursery staff and leaves her little birthing chamber childless. Mary was never pregnant. This incident, till this day, is history's most notorious and well-documented case of pseudocyesis, commonly referred to as false pregnancy. With this condition in these cases, the person is so convinced, so convicted in their desire for a child, that the mind actually tricks the body into believing that it is in fact pregnant. Your mind literally tricks your body into thinking it's pregnant, and it will react accordingly. Your hormones shift, your menstrual cycle completely stops, the belly actually will grow. Now in today's time, these cases are pretty much obsolete thanks to ultrasounds, who can give you a little peek in there and you can see for yourself that nobody is home. But the condition itself still exists. It just does not progress as much because they can go and nip it in the bud and be like, girl, no. Finally, Mary pulls herself together and decides to go ahead and leave her little chambers as well and face the public. She does so by not acknowledging the pregnancy or lack thereof at all. Sis just acts like nothing ever happened. She does not speak on it at all. 2 years later, she believes herself to be pregnant again. She announces it. She tells her husband. She tells her team. And everybody's just looking at her like, girl, not again. Not this again. Literally no one believed her and no one was convinced except for her. No matter how hard she tried to convince them that she was for real this time, that she was sure. And she really did try to convince everyone that this time would be different. Like, I am really about to have this child. She tries to convince them that she has all of the sure signs of pregnancy, including the fact that her menstrual has completely stopped. But as the story goes, sis had actually just entered into early menopause, and it was not anything to do with the baby. No matter how hard Mary tried to convince the people, they just were not buying it. And unfortunately, the very next year, Mary dies, and the cause of her death was suspected to be ovarian cancer, which is sad. And don't y'all come for me and say cancer had not come out yet, because yes, it has. Cancer dates back to like BC years. So stay in your seat. Almost immediately after her death, Mary becomes the myth. Bloody Mary, stand in the mirror with a lit candle, say her name 3 times. She will take a break from wandering in search of her lost children and come and threaten to steal yours. Which I thought sis was just gonna show up and like bite your head off or something. I didn't know until I started researching this that she was supposed to appear with the child. First of all, I didn't even know you were supposed to have a candle child. I was just in the dark doing it Candyman style. But I did not know anything about the kid or that she would appear holding or threaten to come take yours. Like, what if I ain't got no kid? She gonna Rumpelstiltskin me and threaten to take my firstborn when it happens? Like, what's going on? Child, I guess that's why she never showed up for me when I did it. Because 1, I did not have the candle girl. And 2, I did not have the child. And so I guess she didn't have the time. Have you ever done it? Did you ever stand in the mirror and say her name 3 times with a little candle? Like, how much of this did you already know about? I'm curious to know in the comments. I'm actually going to premiere this video so we can watch it together and we can talk about it. Because, honey, prior to me researching this, I didn't know any of the things. I did not know sis was a real person. I didn't know anything about the babies, girl, or lack thereof. I didn't know anything. And I'm a little upset that I learned so late about the candle. But you think I'm about to go stand in the mirror and do it now at my big old age? Nope. I'm a leader to y'all. I dare one of y'all to go and do it. But y'all don't do it. Because if you disappear or she come take your baby, then you're gonna be mad at me and I ain't gonna know what to tell you. I cannot wait to see if you guys like this video. I wonder if you can tell, because I felt so much more excited to deliver this story, and I really cannot wait to edit it to see like if it comes across on the camera. And I don't want anybody to get worried that the true crime content is going anywhere, because it's not. I still very much enjoy doing those videos. I just want to do something new too, you know? That's it. That's all. And this is just one of the ideas. This is the idea that I was a little less excited about. I still love the idea though. Originally, when I decided to go to 2 videos a week, this was supposed to be the 2nd video. This was so long ago. I was supposed to do an urban legend, not another true crime case. But what had happened was, when I went to research the urban legends, for whatever reason, I don't know, I was doing it wrong. Maybe it wasn't the right time. I don't know. But I couldn't find that much information online, and I couldn't find really any other than like Candyman and Bloody Mary. And I honestly don't know why that is, because I'm not having the trouble now finding the stories and the details. Maybe it just was not the right time to do it. I don't know. And while I'm here for the urban legend, for you to finally be seeing it, however, my other concept is my favorite of the new 2. Of the 2 new, whatever. Now see, the other concepts that is going to be new to the channel, it requires a lot more time and a lot more attention. You know how that one child just needs a little extra TLC. That one, I cannot wait, because that one is going to be the fun one. It's a little interactive. It's just, I'm ready. I hope you guys enjoy the new content though as much as I am enjoying making it. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And I know there are some people like, I don't like scary stories. I took a poll on Instagram to see like if people like scary stories. 90% of y'all said that y'all do enjoy like spooky stories. But I don't think this one is in particular is scary. Some of them will get scary. Next week's urban legend story is scary. And I saved that one for next week because it's right before Halloween. Not a lot of them are really scary like that. Alright, so that is the end of the story behind the urban legend of Bloody Mary. And so that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Let me know your thoughts down below on Miss Mary and all of the things that she had going on. Having babies tossed in the flames and all of the things. She was a lot. And I cannot wait to hear what y'all got to say about it. So leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you have not. As always, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace. It's itching up under this wig, girl. What is it about the glass that makes iced water taste so good? All right, let me get my shit together mentally. Why am I doing? What kind of breathe? That's like pregnancy, labored breathing. Why am I doing it? So Queen Mary was born on February 16th of 1516. Child, she was born on the 18th. What am I talking about? England becomes divided between the Catholics and the Protestants. They're not protesters. Like, is it? What is it? Let me look it up, because what I'm not gonna do is that to these people's religion.
Protestants.
Protestants. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that. Protestants. They were all kind of disturbing with a C, girl. Oh, I got glue in my hair. No, that's not cute. Did y'all ever complete it? Like, damn, Blue.